If you provide a highly exclusive service, then you should be compensated well, just like guys in the NBA. There's not too many people who can do what LeBron James does or Tom Brady or whatever, and when you have those types of skills, then you should be compensated well for them.
Hi, everyone. This is Optimal Instinct with Trish, and I am Trish Taggart, a business efficiency expert. What makes me different is that I can get you an action plan that will get your clients to stay longer, pay more, and refer often by 35%. All this in one day instead of 600 hours. How much is your time worth? Today we have as our guest, Paul Klein. From his days as an 80s hair band guitarist and lifelong entrepreneur, to starting and scaling a successful SaaS company, to consulting for some of the biggest brands on the planet, including Target, Slack, UC Berkeley, Holiday Inn, KFC, Taco Bell, JCPenney, Sherwin-Williams, Les Schwab, and more, and really more. Paul has perfected what he calls a 3 pillars approach to building, scaling, and pricing your consulting, freelance, and solopreneur services in a way that helps you rock your pricing to 7 figures in revenue. Paul is also the host of Pricing is Positioning podcast. An unknown fact about Paul is that he is from Northern California between Tahoe and San Francisco, the home of the Sutter Buttes, the smallest mountain range in the world. And I did some research, and the tallest peak is just a little over 2,000 feet.
That sounds right. I didn't even know that, but that's right.
That's right. Okay, so let's get started on the question. What is a problem that you solve, Paul?
Pricing. That's an easy one. Yeah, I help solopreneurs, freelancers, coaches, consultants, especially now in this new normal, as they're talking about with the coronavirus. We're all working from home and from trying to, increase our digital footprint in different businesses. And so many of us struggle with our pricing, how to price our products and services, whether they be digital products like online courses or coaching and consulting. So pricing is my big superpower I help you with.
Okay, that's great. So what are the common mistakes that people make when they try to solve that problem?
Number one question I'll ask somebody who's seeking my help and, when they're coaching and so forth, and that is charging by the hour. If you are charging by the hour, you are under an old antiquated model that was invented over 200 years ago. And you think our professional world has evolved since then? So why are we still charging like it's, 1829 or whatever it is, it's like, it doesn't fit to the knowledge economy that we're in. So, charging by the hour is a big step for a lot of people because we're so used to it. It's so ingrained into our professional society, especially when we pivot from the corporate world or that structure of employment to freelancing or being our own coach and consultant. It's hard for some people to move from that hourly. But when you move away from hourly, the sky's the limit. You can charge for value. You can create a win-win. The biggest problem with hourly is it creates that automatic disjointedness with our clients. They want you to get it done as quickly as you can because it's going to cost them more. You want it to drag it out because you're going to make more.
Yes.
So hourly is totally antiquated, and I help people move away from that and charge on value.
Absolutely. I remember back in the day when I was working in digital advertising and I had to do the work breakdown structures and, okay, let's get this big Excel spreadsheet out. And everybody had, their rates and how many hours were they going to work on the project. And then the client will come back and say, that's too high and you have to go back and, reconfigure it. And it was pretty much...
It's antiquated. And my friend Ron Baker, who wrote the book Implementing Value-Based Pricing, so many agencies and companies use the timesheet as project management. Well, that's like baking your cookies using the fire alarm as your detection of when the cookies are ready. It's too late. You've already blown out the budget. You've already exceeded what the client expects, and now you're in this. You end up giving away work. And anyway, if you can move away from hourly, that's the number one mistake that I could see would immediately increase your value and the rates you can charge.
Well, okay. So in giving us the common mistakes that people make, problem solve common mistake. And you already gave the number one tip is, move towards value as opposed to hourly. But let's talk a little bit about this pricing quiz that you have on your website.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many different ways. I talk about the different 5 pricing arrangements that consultants, coaches can do. I teach that, and there's all kinds of different ways you can charge for your services. But the pricing quiz that I have for free on my webpage will walk you through a series of questions and will really open your eyes if you're really new to pricing, or even if you're an established consultant that's been pricing. Then I have a rating system wrapped around the Rockstar theme that I used to be. Mm-hmm. And if you're the more you are charging on value, the more you are using productized services and away from hourly, the higher your rating will be. You'll be a rock star pricer. If you're still charging by the hour and you're still, not really into the value yet, then you're going to get a rating of what we call a garage band. You're a garage band just trying to make it. And then I have 2 in between, depending on how you answer on the questions. It's about 12 questions, but you could get a club act, or you could get an arena opening act. So there's 4 ratings you can get based on how you answer the questions. And the idea behind it is to help you think about other ways you could charge for your services and products that will help you increase your rates and start moving towards value.
Yeah, a lot of people are afraid to speak about pricing with their clients based on value. Okay. And from the way I see it, I always tell people, other consultants, you're actually helping somebody. Okay, so what does that help? How much does that help cost? And how much is it going to save them? So again, moving them more towards the value mindset. Okay, don't think about like you're selling somebody. No, you're not selling them. You're helping them. So, how much does that help? What is it going to save them? So we're kind of on the same page with that. And maybe you can add a little bit more to that.
Yeah. I mean, so often we sell to our own wallets. We think the value to what we think is important to our clients, but that's not the case at all. You want to price the client, not your solution. Mm-hmm. So what is the value that your product or service is bringing to their client? And a lot of us have just like a flat rate. Okay, I'll do Facebook ads for $1,500. No, that what you're providing to, a mom and pop shop in Facebook ads is totally different than what you would provide to Starbucks mm-hmm. or a Fortune 500 company. Mm-hmm. So you really got to look at the value that your products and services are bringing to that client. And I was working with one of my coaching clients the other day, and she was a Facebook ads expert, and she was struggling with raising her prices. She was at $1,500 a month, which is, mm-hmm. Decent, but she was working way too much and she's really struggling. How am I going to raise my rates? They're not going to go for it. I'm not worth it. I said, well, no, wait a minute. Let's talk about this. How much do your Facebook ads help generate that client in revenue per year? She said, well, last year we generated $500,000 in revenue just off the Facebook ads. I said, okay, how much did they generate in revenue before you implemented your Facebook ads? And she said $50,000. I said, okay, well, then your value is based on you bring $450,000 of value, and you should at least get 10% of that, which would be about $45,000. So you should be charging around $3,500 a month minimum. That's easy money on the stock market, especially now with the Dow being down. Yep. Any investor is going to take 10%. I'll pay $45,000 all day to make $450. So once the light bulb went on, she went back to her client. Easy sell. Client went for it. It's a no-brainer for them, but she was really struggling how to get from that $1,500. It's doubling her rates. It was doubling her rates, but when she really focused on the value of what she was bringing to the client, then that made all the difference in the world.
It's such a mindset thing, right? I mean, we're not going to get into, the psychology and all of that, but it really, I think a lot of consultants undervalue, the value that they bring to the client. They kind of nickel and dime their personal value instead of saying, hey, you know what? I'm making them so much money. Maybe I should get a cut of that pie.
Yeah, exactly. It's that exact saying, sell into your own wallet, undervaluing your services, or you think it comes easy to you, so therefore it doesn't have as much value. Mm-hmm. And when we shift that focus to the value to our clients, that makes all the difference in the world. And I'm not talking about price gouging or taking advantage of your clients. What we're talking about is making that win-win. And there's a great book by Rabbi Lapin. It's called Thou Shalt Prosper. And it's creating those certificates of appreciation, a win-win, where the client is giving you an equal exchange of value in dollars for your product or service. And that's a perfectly acceptable model that works for both. If you provide a highly exclusive service, then you should be compensated well, just like guys in the NBA. There's not too many people who can do what LeBron James does or Tom Brady or whatever, and when you have those types of skills, then you should be compensated well for them.
So you brought up Tom Brady. Where's he going?
I heard he's headed towards Florida where it's a little warmer. So
Really?
That's Buccaneers or something like that. Last I heard, I don't know.
I was kind of shocked. I was like, news of the day. This is going to date this podcast, but I'm a tennis buff, and French Open is going to be played in September. What?
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's an odd month.
Yeah, it totally is. But these are the times we are living in. So, okay, Paul, let me get to the last question because I know you're a busy guy. What should I have asked you that I did not?
Oh, man. What did you ask me? Are you talking about a serious question or a fun question?
At this point, let's let it roll.
You didn't ask me what my favorite all-time band in the world was.
What is your all-time favorite band?
The greatest musical collection in history of known to mankind, and that's Kiss.
Oh!
The guys from New York, right from where you're from, right?
That's right.
Anyway, yeah, I was one of those lunch pail carrying kids in the 70s that grew up on them. I know they're not the greatest musician in the world, but hey, they're fun, they're entertaining. I like them, but you didn't ask me about my favorite band, so there it is.
No, but there it is. And you know what's funny is because I did a podcast a couple of months ago, and somebody asked me, what is your favorite song?
Oh.
It was She.
Oh. From Kiss?
Yes.
Oh, wow. And the fact that you know She, that means you're a closet Kiss fan, and there's a lot of them out there. I mean, there's so many. It's amazing.
They're pretty cool. And I think if you listen to them now, they're still pretty cool. And there was a cover album that was done, and Anthrax did the cover of She. Yeah. Anthrax was a cool band. Yeah. I love that, all that old music from those days, growing up in the late 80s, early 90s, even into Nirvana and all those bands. Yeah.
It's just good music, good fun times. And I try to bring a piece of that into my personal brand and all this serious consulting stuff, because there's a lot of guys, stiff guys in suits that are talking about the same thing, but I try to have a little bit of fun too.
Absolutely. Well, Paul, we've come to the end of the show. This is quite an entertaining show. This is great, actually. Thank you so much for being on, and maybe we'll have you on again a little bit further down the road.
Absolutely. Anytime.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for joining us on Optimal Instinct with Trish. If you've enjoyed what you've heard, head on over to iTunes, subscribe, and if you really enjoy the content, leave us a well-appreciated review. If you are looking to create an environment that partners your desire for more profitable, more productive, and greater referability in client relationships, combined with sustained team morale, then I suggest you head over to clientvaluedemo.com to learn more about the C's value model. Talk soon.